What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com, FightfulMMA.com. Go over there for your live coverage of this Saturday's UFC 248. We have pick'ems ahead of the show. I will have some results after the event, in which I am admittedly not that excited to cover. Yep, Adesanya versus Romero. It's not for me. I don't think that Romero deserves this title shot. We'll talk about that in a bit, but let's go ahead and give you some betting odds for this show. You have Dana Batgarel, a minus 140 favorite over Guido Canetti, a plus 120. Giga Chikadze, a plus 145 underdog against Jamal Emmers, a minus 165 favorite. Emily Whitmire and Polyana Viana in one of the more evenly matched fights on this show. Whitmire is a minus 105. Viana is a minus 115. A Deron Winn, minus 145 favorite against Gerald Meerschaert, a plus 125 underdog. I rather like that fight as well at middleweight. Meerschaert is significantly more experienced than Winn. Winn is coming off a loss, albeit a split decision one. He could not get in, or I wouldn't say he couldn't get into the cage. It was difficult for him to get into the cage. Last August, he went through two opponents before landing on Spicely, but he does have a nice win over Tom Lawler. I do see Gerald Meerschaert maybe being able to pull out something crafty despite losing 3 of his last 4 fights. He does have a wealth of experience, over 40 fights to Deron Winn's, I think 7. I think he's got 7. You have Rodolfo Vieira, a massive, massive favorite, a minus 800 as he takes on Saperbeg Sefarov. This is I believe it is a 185-pound fight, but Safarov's experience primarily comes at light heavyweight. I think Vieira is going to run away with this one. Mark Madsen at 9-0 takes on Austin Hubbard. I have Madsen taking this one, as do the betting odds, minus 220 over Hubbard's plus 180. You have Alex Oliveira at minus 150 against the plus 130 Max Griffin. This fight would have looked a lot better a while back. Oliveira has lost 3 in a row. He's had a couple fights canceled as well. It hasn't been good. He hasn't won in over a year. This is not the Alex Oliveira that we saw a couple years back. Max Griffin, on the other hand, I'll say this: he's been winning fights here and there, but not consistently. He doesn't have back-to-back wins in the UFC. He's, I think, 3-5. If he loses, I could see him getting cut because UFC's been much more apt to do that of late. Beneil Dariush, minus 170 against Drakkar Klose, a plus 150. I like this fight, too. It's good to see Beneil Dariush bounce back after it looked like it might be the end. When he lost to Hernandez and Barboza back-to-back, and he had only won 2 of 6 fights. I don't want to say back-to-back. Sorry. He lost to Hernandez, lost to Barboza, and had a draw with Dunham in between there, if I remember correctly. But there was a period where he only won 2 of 6 fights, and he's come back and won 3 in a row. That's good. Lightweight needs people like Beneil Dariush who can finish you on the ground, they can finish you on the feet. And Drakkar Klose is not somebody he can run over. Dariush is actually younger than Drakkar Klose, which is wild to think. But Drakkar Klose has won 5 in a row, but hasn't finished anybody. That's where I think Beneil Dariush holds the advantage. We have never seen Drakkar Klose finish anybody in the UFC, and we have seen Beneil Dariush go to lengths to make that happen. Li Jingyang, a minus 165 against the plus 145 Neil Magny. I think that Magny, even at this betting line, is one that I would put 5 on if you have to. I usually pick 3 there. He's won 3 of his last 5, 2 of his last 3. You know he can finish a fight or ride it out. Li Jingyang is on a hot streak, though. He has won 7 of 8. He is in a spot where Magny once was, and I'm sure that Magny wants to get back to. And we've seen both men finish fights in a variety of ways or ride out the decision. Quite frankly, I like this matchup. I think it's a good one. I don't know if it's a pay-per-view fight, but I've seen a lot worse pay-per-view cards than what we've got rocking right now. But to close off that paper, or to close off the prelim card, actually, Sean O'Malley, a minus 380 against Jose Quinones, plus 315. Here's to hoping that Sean O'Malley actually makes it to fight night, because as we've seen in the past, it just doesn't work for him. He has not fought in 2 years. He's faced USADA violations and had his fight. This fight was actually supposed to happen in October 2018, and O'Malley got flagged. Then he was supposed to get back into the cage in July of last year. He got flagged again and effectively missed 2 years. For better or for worse, the guy missed 2 years because of shit. And it's unfortunate. He's no longer like a 22, 23-year-old. He's 25 and looking to get in there and probably go on a title run at this point. I got O'Malley winning this. Then you got the co-main event. Wiley Zhang, a minus 170 favorite against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, a plus 150. I got Joanna Jędrzejczyk winning this fight, and not only do I have her winning it, I got 5 on it pick as well. If I had to pick 3, it'd be Safarov just because of the crazy line, Jędrzejczyk because of her experience, and probably Neil Magny. But the thing about Jędrzejczyk is she is the greatest fighter ever in this division. And I know that Zhang is very good. Very good. And we've seen her take fights on the feet. We've seen her take it on the ground. We've seen her grind out decisions. I just think that Joanna Jędrzejczyk has been there a little bit more. We've seen her go 5 rounds. We've seen her go the distance. We haven't seen that out of Zhang. So I think if Zhang wins, it's going to be a very early victory for her. If Jędrzejczyk wins, I see her riding this out all the way. And, you know, the thing I like about Jędrzejczyk is she came back, she beat Michelle Waterson, and she earned her shot again. She didn't have to earn it that much. She didn't have to do a whole lot to earn this title shot, but she went out and did something, and I respect that. I'll tell you what I don't respect. Yoel Romero getting a title shot. I do not give a shit if you think that Jared Cannonier is not a quote-unquote draw. Yoel Romero drew 150,000 pay-per-view buys for his title fight against Robert Whittaker. 250,000 his second time. The guy wasn't setting the world on fire on pay-per-view when he was winning fights. Meanwhile, Jared Cannonier, back-to-back-to-back, beat Jack Hermansson. Second round TKO, performance of the night. Beat Anderson Silva, greatest middleweight of all time. TKO, round 1. Beat David Branch. TKO, round 2. Performance of the night. Now I've got some absolute gobshite donks saying, oh, you're just going to forget what happened when he was at light heavyweight? Yeah, you are. Because he's won 3 fights in a row, and that was 2 years ago. Did we just forget what happened with Thiago Santos at middleweight? Did we just forget what happened with Anthony Smith at middleweight? You're goddamn right we did, because they moved up divisions, they proved their dominance, they won fights over good fighters, and then they took on the champion. And that's what should be happening with Jared Cannonier. Instead, we have Yoel Romero plus 235 taking on Israel Adesanya minus 275, getting this fight just because Israel Adesanya said he wanted it. Now, good, Israel Adesanya, if not a star, is a future star, and that's cool. But I'm so sick of these people calling their shots and calling it against people who don't win fucking fights. All due respect to Jose Aldo. It was a close fight, and arguably he won his last one, but he didn't win. Peter Yan did. Aljamain Sterling did. Joseph Benavidez had before this past week. Henry Cejudo should have been fighting one of them. This is why I respect John Jones in spite of all the controversies, because he keeps fighting winners. Now, don't bring up that Chael Sonnen shit to me. It wasn't his idea to fight Chael Sonnen anyway. Yoel Romero had his shot in July 2017 for the interim middleweight championship. He had a 2-0 lead going into round 3. Robert Whittaker with no leg. No, he had one leg, and he pissed it away. Robert Whittaker ran away with it. Well, then what happened? Robert Whittaker couldn't fight anymore for a while. So Yoel Romero had his shot again in February 2018. Interim middleweight title. Romero won the fight, but what happened? Romero blew weight. He missed weight. Wow. The man showed up off weight. Hot diggity damn. Could you imagine that? Now, after this, he's given another title shot because they're like, well, he won even though he didn't miss weight. Well, he loses in June 2018 when he gets another middleweight title shot against Robert Whittaker. But it's not a title fight because the man missed weight again. Hot diggity damn. So you're looking at 3 title shots in 11 months, 0 championships for this man. So you know what? He sits out. He got sick in April 2019. So effectively, he sits out for 13 months. No fights. And what does he do? He gets booked into a top contender fight with Paulo Costa. Awesome fight. He lost it. He lost that top contender fight against Paulo Costa. Pissed away another shot, right? Nope, not so much. Because here we are in March 2020. Paulo Costa can't fight. He's hurt. And now Yoel Romero is facing Israel Adesanya. Why? Well, because the UFC didn't have the foresight to book middleweights into fights where they could be properly erected as top contenders. Even though Jared Cannonier deserves that distinction. This main event can get absolutely screwed. What's the upside? Israel Adesanya beats a guy who's lost 3 of his last 4. Then he'll have lost 4 of his last 5. Oh, by the way, he's 43 next month, is Romero. If Romero wins, he knocks off the hot new champion. Miserable. Adesanya's winning this. Join us Saturday night. We will have thousands of comments in that live discussion. Fightful.com, FightfulMMA.com. Thanks for listening to me rant. I appreciate all of you. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, we're out.